All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Philip Stennis. I'm the manager of the Cal State Fullerton Startup Incubator. It is a pleasure to host Ritu today and talking about time management. Just a little bit about us. So Cal State Fullerton, we decided to open our doors to the public and allow those people who are interested in learning about entrepreneurship to join our startup incubator. It is a 6-month program, and if you're interested in learning more about that, we can definitely talk afterwards. I'll put my information into the chat. With that, why don't I go ahead and hand it over to Ritu? Ritu, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your background, and take it from here.
Sure. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share my presentation. So let me introduce myself. I'm Ritu. I am a business owner. I own 2 companies. One is my technology and business consulting firm, which has been around for about 20 years. The other is a travel company that I started recently. I come from a family, being Indian, of course, I come from a family of lawyers and doctors and not necessarily business entrepreneurs. So a lot of this I had to learn myself, which is where it took me a little bit of time, on the job learning. And right now I'm in the mode of paid forward. So I'm hoping that you all can benefit what took me a while to learn from, discussions and learn from my experience. I'm going to give you a little bit of context about what we do so that you understand where I'm coming from. Our company focuses on strategy, on planning. So strategy is, are you looking to establish a business, launch a business, grow a business? Are you looking for just personal growth? How do you execute it? So for example, for a nonprofit, their goal was to raise $1 million. We just finished an event for them. They raised about 200,000 right there in that event. So, turning that strategy into an active plan and then executing. And we'll talk about technology platforms you can use, even if you're an entrepreneur, or we can run it for you, which is how sort of we manage. Our clients, for example, could be a lifetime value of $500. So in their entire engagement with us, we could get only, $500 in terms of revenue. Or we've had clients that are $500,000 in engagement. Why that works across different models is because all businesses operate on 9 work streams. So whether it's revenue, cost, customer, your unique proposition. So have a lot of experience is what I'm trying to convey. And that's where you will hear me use real life examples. So, again, I'm hoping you can benefit. I'm here to sort of share and pay it forward. Now, coming to why we are here today. We are here to talk about time management systems. So time management skills are important. If I ask, 8 out of 10 people will say money is your primary, asset. And I would disagree with that. Time, how you use it, understanding your goals, how to use it efficiently, effectively for most value will eventually bring you the revenue. So this is where, when as entrepreneurs or people we are chasing, and goals could also be personal goals, right? And I'll talk about, one of my goals last year was weight loss and how I incorporated that in. So the key in the critical asset of time is to not just spend it, but to invest it. And what I mean by that is we have 24 hours in the day, right? Give or take, if you're an entrepreneur, you can maybe stretch your day to like a 14-hour or a 16-hour day. But at the end of the day, if you're not using that time wisely, that's pretty much gone. So how can we be more effective, and how can we leverage the most value out of our time? First thing I'm going to talk about is be intentional in what you do, in all you do. And what that means is don't just do a task. right? I had to, for example, create this workshop content, and I could have just created it. But what I ended up doing is I also had another goal. I wanted to teach myself how to create videos in AI. So I took the time to prepare the content using AI for this workshop. Now, what that does is it does three things. It helped me create my workshop content. It helped me learn how to use the AI tool to create videos. The bonus is those 1 minute videos are now going to be postings for my social media. So when you think about what I achieved, I combine tasks. Here's another way to think about it. When I need to clear my head or when I'm watching a webinar, I don't just sit and watch it. I will make sure I spend 15 minutes standing up, walking through. At the end of the year, last year, combining my weight loss personal goals with my let's build my awareness goals and, doing the business, I lost about 20-25 pounds, right? So be very intentional. What are you doing? What is on your list of to-dos? How can you use that? And then the other thing I talk about is do not do things just for one time, right? Every time you do something, think about how you can evolve it, how you can re-leverage it. Going back to again the example of, those 1 minute clips are going to be great social media posting, and you're going to see some of those. So I hope, I'd love to hear if you like them. That's my first stage of learning my AI videos. The next thing is evidently I can learn how to make my own avatar. So I'm going to be trying that. So if you hopefully attend our next session, you're going to see an avatar that's actually created out of my own profile. Does that make sense? Like, do you all follow what I'm saying? Can I see a thumbs up on the screen? Awesome. Awesome. As human beings, we have a lot of distractions. Distractions are good because as we understand them, we grow, our awareness builds. But at the same time, when you are trying to be productive, distractions need to be managed. So here's the first video we're going to watch.
To manage time, one has to manage distractions. Imagine a playful dog, always eager to fetch, but easily sidetracked. As the ball is thrown for a dog, butterflies, squirrels, and even its own tail become irresistible distractions. Sound familiar? Let's dive into the world of distractions. Just like our furry friend, humans face distractions daily. Whether it's a buzzing phone, a wandering mind, or social media, these interruptions can derail our focus. These distractions impact our productivity. Why do distractions occur? Our brains are wired to notice changes in our environment. This survival mechanism, while useful, can hinder productivity. Identifying common distractions is the first step to regaining control. Ask yourself, what are your distractions? From social media notifications to background noise, distractions are everywhere. They can lead to lost time and decreased efficiency. Understanding their impact is crucial for effective time management. To minimize distractions, schedule focus time daily. During this time, silence notifications and organize your workspace for a prioritized task you are targeting for completion. Focus time will help you create a distraction-free environment. Focus time could be 10 minutes or a couple of hours based on your availability. A small change like this can significantly enhance your productivity. Implement time blocking and the Pomodoro technique to maintain concentration. The Pomodoro technique is a time management method that involves working in 25-minute intervals, called Pomodoros, with short breaks in between. The goal is to improve focus and enhance productivity by breaking work into manageable chunks. By managing distractions and mastering focus, you can achieve more in both personal and professional life. Remember, focus is a skill that can be developed with practice. By embracing focus, you'll unlock your potential and achieve your goals. Let's make distractions a thing of the past.
Takeaway from this is it doesn't have to be a long time. You can say, I have 25 minutes. What am I going to achieve in that time? Once you do focus, schedule, manage your distractions, at the end of it, track how you did, right? Did I stay focused? Do I need to maybe expand my time? But this is where managing distractions can be an a benefit to you, and distractions can be an impediment. Does everybody follow? Can I see a thumbs up in terms of understanding the impact of distractions? Awesome. Awesome. Next thing we're going to talk about is aligning tasks to energy levels. All of us are not at the same energy level during the day. I, for one, am an evening person. So, I am most productive during the evening. It takes me a couple of hours to get up. So, understanding what tasks require, high focus versus what tasks are low focus, you can sort of benefit from it. So, here's my next video.
Here we are going to discuss how to manage tasks to your energy level. Aligning tasks to energy means strategically scheduling tasks throughout your day based on your natural energy levels, placing high-focus, demanding tasks during your peak energy periods to maximize productivity and performance, essentially working with your body's natural rhythm rather than against it. Schedule certain activities and topics for meetings when energy levels best match what you want to accomplish. It will not always work out exactly right, but think about how much more efficient and effective you could be if you took the timing into consideration when scheduling those events. Understand how your energy patterns work and how they are impacted by your sleep patterns. Over time, work to recognize what triggers your energy levels in different ways and apply that knowledge to your task scheduling accordingly. Or to modify your energy level as needed. Be true to yourself when you plan your tasks to your energy level. For example, if you are not a morning person, it may take you a couple of hours to be fully functional. In that case, do not plan high engagement or high focus tasks for first hour or two of your work schedule. By scheduling high focus and demanding tasks during your peak energy levels, you optimize output while still being able to leverage your low energy times for other tasks.
The key takeaway is not that you're not using your low energy levels. So, for example, if I have to do a quick email, if I have to respond to something, if I have to run a payroll, those are things that don't require thinking and full engagement. But if I'm signing a contract, if I'm putting a proposal together, if I'm putting a workshop, those are high peak, high demand. So, adjusting your schedule, and sometimes it may not work out, but if you can work accordingly, that will help you optimize your time as well. So Lee was, one of the execs, automobile execs that worked at Ford, that worked at Chrysler. So his thing is, if you want to make the most use of your time, you have to know what is important and then give it all you got, which brings us to the next point, right? Prioritization, understanding what is important. So let's look at prioritization. Stephen Covey's book, First Things First, is a great read because that also talks about it. At one of the meetings, I got asked, how does one prioritize? So everybody's priorities categories are going to be different. So when I look at priority, I have an offshore team that comes on at 7 o'clock in the evening. I have onshore team that works US hours. I look and say, what is it that I have on my list that will hold up the team, right? Because that's a broader group of people. That's a broader impact. The other thing, like all companies, I look at, what will impact my revenue realization? Month end, have I submitted all the invoices? Am I working through? So I have defined categories, deadlines. So I knew that last week, this workshop preparation was not as critical, but yesterday, completing and having it ready was critical. So priorities will change. Define your categories, understand it, and then work your list. So here are some of the questions to ask, right? What is the impact of the task if you don't do it? And we're going to go through it in a little bit. So one of the things that Stephen talks about in his book is President Eisenhower's matrix. So basically you have important and you have urgent. So anything that's important and urgent, you want to do immediately. Anything that's important but not urgent, you can schedule it. Anything that's urgent but not important, you can think, if you have resources, to delegate. Anything that's neither important nor urgent, the matrix talks about deletion. Maybe it's not important. I also say you can defer it. Maybe I won't do it this week. Maybe I was meeting somebody new for networking. Maybe I won't do it this week. Maybe I'll do it next week when I have more bandwidth. So organize your tasks based on the importance and the urgency. Does everybody follow? Can I see a thumbs up? Awesome. Okay. Similar to the Eisenhower method is the ABCD method, right? Basically, you have more categories here. So something that's critical consequences, something that's not critical, something that's nice, something that you can delegate out, just needs to be done. Something maybe you thought it was important at work time, but it's not right now. So what you can do is you can categorize your tasks based on the ABCD method. And then within those, so if you have 4 of the 8 tasks, look at them and say, which ones do I need to do first? And now maybe I only have 5 minutes, so I can do this task. When I have 2 hours, I will do these other 5 tasks, work through those categories and schedule those tasks. So this is sort of what we call the ABCDE method. For a lot of us, right, that are professionals, we spend our life in meetings, and our work starts after. So when we look at those meetings, like, how do we manage those meetings better? PAC is one of the methods that you can leverage for your meetings. So let's watch this.
Let's talk about using the PAT method to improve your professional productivity. Has one of your goals this year been to make your organization more productive? In many cases, greater productivity starts with more efficient meetings. Meetings can be a major source of wasted time and energy, derailing your team's progress and ultimately hurting your bottom line. PAT stands for Purpose, Agenda, and Timeframe. Implementing the PAT method to the management of meetings can ensure time among team members is spent as productively as possible. Here's a breakdown of the PAT method and how you can implement it effectively. Ensure there is a purpose established and communicated for each meeting. When scheduling any meeting, it's important to define its purpose in advance. Articulating in 1 or 2 words the point of the meeting in terms of what needs to be accomplished will ensure every participant understands what they will be expected to discuss and contribute. This sets the tone for the progress that needs to be made from the gathering. If you can't identify a central purpose, it may not be beneficial to have a meeting at all. Sometimes alternate measure, like a quick call or email reach out, may eliminate the need for a meeting. Set an agenda for the meeting. Firstly, it allows for attendees to ensure they have the right people in the meeting. Also, it will be critical for keeping participants on track. An agenda can be a few quick bullets of discussion topics that need to be covered and the individuals responsible for them. Circulate the agenda at least a day before the meeting, so all participants have a chance to review it beforehand and come prepared with any notes or questions. Determine a time frame for the meeting. This will keep participants focused on addressing all agenda items in a timely fashion. In addition, indicating a time frame for each item will also allow ample time for every matter to be discussed, without one item receiving more attention than another. Lastly, a predetermined time frame will demonstrate to participants that you respect their time and are committed to making the meeting as efficient as possible. By incorporating the PAT method within management protocols, you can significantly improve the productivity of your meetings, which will ultimately have a positive impact on your organization at large.
can't tell you how many meetings I've attended where there isn't a common objective, there isn't an agenda shared, and it has been a complete waste of time. So hopefully incorporating the PAD approach for meetings, looking at meetings to say, are they truly required? What is the outcome you're trying to achieve? Will provide that effective benefit as well. This is another one of those where I feel like, sometimes we miss this using technology to create content, using technology to manage tasks, to communicate, to manage time, to collaborate. What happens is, as individuals, when we work, and let's say we are an entrepreneur just looking to launch, 9 times out of 10, I'll hear the response, well, I don't have the budget for a platform. I don't have the budget for software. I cannot invest. If you think about it, there are solutions for as little as $200, $300, $400. Our CRM platform is a total cost of $500 a year to be able to capture information for your customers. What that does is it allows you to declutter. I have gone for, I'll do about maybe 15 events in a month to meet and connect with people. I have those business cards with me. I have their information. I do these workshops, getting people to provide that information, to be able to have it online, to be able to pull reports, to be able to see if I am capturing the information, I can say how many connects I made, and I'll walk through a little bit of the dashboards and the benefits as well. But data can be a huge difference, a great opportunity to scale, a great opportunity to manage your the data insights, to manage your time, to be more effective. If you could log in and pull up a quick report within 2 minutes to say, hey, who do I need to call today? Have I not connected? I have 5 minutes. The other is metrics. I always talk about, not just do things, but establish metrics and talk. In our customer workshop, we talk about conversion metrics. So, if you have my team has targets for how many potential clients they're calling. So from a pipeline perspective, if you have targets, have you met your targets for the month? No, maybe you need to do something extra. So spending just a few $100s can allow you to collaborate. For example, I can put in a task in the CRM. My team comes on. I don't even have to be awake offshore. They know what they're doing for the next step. Right? So collaboration, these are time savings where, I created a spreadsheet and now I'm going to have to filter and analyze and I'm going to have to share what I want the team to do. These are things that we don't necessarily think of. How big an enablement technology provides, what insights and scalability data provides. So use technology to your benefit. So now, in keeping with following that, I'm putting up the QR code. What I like you to do is I like you to scan the QR code, click it, just so that I can sort of have you experience it, and enter in the form we created, which took all of maybe like 10 minutes. And go through the experience. So I'll give it a couple of minutes. In the meantime, Philip, do we have any questions so far?
If you have any, for all the participants, if you have any questions, please feel free to write them into the chat or take yourself off mute and we can address it at this time.
I guess I wowed them with my avatars and my 2-minute, 1-minute clips, huh?
I'm actually quite impressed by those videos. Those are pretty cool.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I was telling Travis, I said, I wrote the script, which was, maybe 10 minutes, but that's pretty much what it took to generate those out. And, while the generation time ran, I did other things and came back and worked on the next script. So my next goal is to now see if I can upload my own picture and create my own persona as an avatar. So, it'd be interesting. I
Sounds
think it
fun.
also helps with the workshop, in terms of not having just one speaker talk through it. So I think it was kind of cool.
Okay,
No.
Eric did ask, could you talk a little bit more about the PAT method for meetings?
Sure, sure. Eric, do you want to unmute yourself and maybe ask a question like what would you like to know, right? Um,
Hello.
yes, we can hear you.
Hi. I was wondering like how you would go about um like scheduling a meeting using the PAT method.
Okay, sure, I can talk about it. So when you are looking at schedule a meeting, right? The first thing I would ask is, um, what is the purpose of the meeting? Because the purpose of the meeting will define one, whether you hold the meeting or not, right? Is this something that can be done quickly through an email or, a phone call resolved? If you need one person or multiple person, or for example, if you are working with one person, but you need them to bring this other person as well, or some notes. So define the purpose of the meeting. That's your first. Obviously, you're going to check the availability once you know who needs to attend, availability of the people. The next step is have an agenda. So if it's a multi-topic meeting, so for example, in this meeting, like if I was scheduling this, I would say Philip does the kickoff, the facilitation, right? So then I would say the first 5 minutes of it or 10 minutes of it is Philip. I come on for the actual presentation. So Ritu is the owner of the task where she goes through the training. We have about 10-15 minutes at the end that we're going to throw open for questions. So that's open attendance. And now, for example, there could be a little bit of a variation where Victor, who's, I've collaborated with as well, great entrepreneur, we may pull him in to talk about his experience with the Santana snacks. So he needs to know that he needs to be prepared. So when you prepare the agenda, it's like, talk about the kickoff, talk about the content, talk about open questions. Maybe, you want somebody to share their experience. So circulate the agenda at least a day before, and then you work through the time frame. So, if Philip decides he wants to talk for 20 minutes instead of 5, you got to manage him during the conversation, right? Hey, Philip, it's a big presentation. I need you to stay within the first 5 minutes. So if you have mentioned the topic in the agenda, the owner, and the time frame, now you have set context for what the meeting will run like. Does that make sense? All right.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any other questions based on that?
Uh, I'm trying to write stuff down right now.
Okay, sounds good. And just so everybody knows, this recording will be shared, after because we record all the workshops, and Travis and Philip are really good about sending out the recording. So if you want to do replays, and again, I have my LinkedIn profile as well. I'm happy to connect with you. And like I said, if you sign up for the session, like I'm happy to even work one-on-one with you as well. So we're going to move forward. So what happens with the CRM? I just want to demonstrate, right? So as soon as you submit the form, I get notification to say, hey, somebody submitted a record in here. I get to see, so we built out a workflow. We do the sessions, so people register, people attend. Not everybody who registers attends, so we track who attends. We talk about we follow if they have requested a one-on-one. I can see all the names in my workflow as I go through. So huge benefit of having that data already worked through in terms of the phases. I get the contact information to be able to reach out, but the biggest benefit that I personally feel is I can look and say, here are some quick dashboards that are already built for the day. I can see how the performance is, or I can customize it to say who I want to call, like, what are open. So you have access to the information, and for as little as a few $100s, right? So think about it in terms of where you spend. Like, as entrepreneurs, you want to have a little bit of a marketing budget, you want to have a little bit of a technology budget, and it doesn't have to be huge numbers, but definitely will help you manage time and your effectiveness for that period. Now, going back to, I always tend to look at it as a holistic approach, right? So if you are not healthy mentally, physically, you are not as effective. If you haven't, just all of us, right? A day we haven't slept enough, we are dragging the next day. It's very unlikely I will go for a 3-mile walk on a day I haven't slept 7 hours, if I've slept for only a couple hours. So if you're constantly working 16-hour days, you're going to burn out. You also have personal commitments you need to deal. So how does one avoid burnout? So here's my next video.
It is important to avoid burnout. 1. Set realistic goals. Break down large goals into manageable tasks and celebrate small wins. 2. Take regular breaks. Follow the Pomodoro technique or schedule short breaks to recharge throughout the day. Stepping away from your desk is important. 3. Maintain work-life balance. Set clear boundaries between work and personal time. This is especially required if you work from home or remote. 4. Practice self-care. Take a holistic approach to incorporate exercise, healthy eating, and enough sleep into your routine. Fresh mind can lead to amazing perspective. 5. Delegate tasks. Share responsibilities with team members to avoid overloading yourself and becoming the bottleneck. 6. Learn to say no. Avoid overcommitting by setting limits on your workload. Understand true effort and time requirements to not overextend yourself. 7. Engage in relaxing activities. Spend time on hobbies, meditation, or social activities to unwind and recharge your mind and soul. 8. Monitor stress levels. Learn to recognize your patterns and catch yourself before you hit the wall. Pay attention to signs of stress and address them proactively, for example, mindfulness, professional support. By combining focus-enhancing strategies with healthy work habits, it's possible to stay productive while maintaining mental and physical well-being.
So I'm going to tell you, one of my charge your mind activities was, I had so much fun with these videos and avatar. You'll see all sorts of accents, all sorts of people. It was fun to do, right? But it is really important to recognize your patterns, because nobody can work over a long period of time for hours and hours and hours throughout the year, right? So catch yourself before you hit the wall, recognize your patterns, make sure you're taking a holistic approach. Invest time in your health as well. A classic, I'll give you a very simple example. Sometimes I need to step away from the desk. I need to process things. What I'll do is, instead of waiting to go for a 3-mile walk, I will go for a 30-minute walk and do a mile, or a 15-minute walk. Just stepping away helps as well. So recognize signs of, burnout. Recognize when you are pushing yourself beyond the limit of being productive, when you're dragging, and make sure you give yourself that time to rejuvenate and charge. So at this point, pretty much I think I've covered most of it. We still have about 20 minutes. I'm happy to stop sharing, take questions. What would you like to do?
This was excellent. I actually learned quite a bit myself.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So, for those of you in the audience, if you have some questions, or if you'd like to chime in, maybe even mention what works for you well, please feel free to unmute yourself. And we can also...
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, yes. One of the questions that I have is, what app or what program it would be recommended to use to be on top of your task? I have a hard time following my tasks with my meetings, my trainings, with is it it is kind of difficult to keep on the schedule because, like I say, I need to make sure I use the right program or the right app to organize my schedule. Thank you.
Sorry, so I struggled a little bit with understanding. For me, the voice wasn't clear. So, Jay, are you asking how to organize your tasks? Is that what the question was?
Yes, specifically if there is any app or program that you would recommend.
To organize and plan your task, right?
Right.
From an approach perspective.
Yes.
Okay. So there are tools that I can share from a project management perspective that will allow you to prioritize, but at a simple level, right? Just very basic. You could use Excel to map all the tasks that you have and then prioritize them accordingly, right? The thing with the tasks is that for managing those from an approach perspective, it's your input, right? So you got to understand first what are your categories that you are looking at, and then from day to day the prioritization vary. So do you, first of all, I'm going to ask, do you have an active list of tasks that you track? If I was to say, what are the 5 or 15 or 50 tasks on your list, do you have those documented, or are they in your head? Like, do you have an inventory of those?
Yes, I do have a list.
Perfect. So the next thing is, from a process perspective, do you know what your categories are? Like, what is it that you do? Give me an idea so that, like I said, right, I have onshore and offshore teams. So I look at what will hold up my team. What are some of your priorities, like categories?
I would say uh, webinars, conference, meetings, and uh, appointments, I would say.
Okay, so are you scheduling those? Are you attending those? Are you presenting at those? What is your role?
Um, Sometimes as a participant, sometimes as an audience, and sometimes as a host.
So sometimes you said as a participant, and then what were the next two?
Organizing,
Organizing, got
attending.
it? Got it. So now let's talk about it, right? This is still at a very high level. So let's say the first thing I would say is to look at the ones that are highest priority are the ones that you are organizing. But when you are organizing will have subtasks with it. Right. So, for example, you may need to book a venue. You may need to put together sort of your panel or session list together. So breaking it down further to that level, looking at it from a perspective of what are the things I need to do for. So the first thing I would say is, if I was doing this, I would look at which ones I'm organizing. What are the due dates for that? I would put a template together. And again, I'm happy to sort of work one-on-one with you on this, but reach out, register, because then what we can do is, within that organizing, you may have subtasks. Some of those you may be able to delegate out if you have a team. If you don't and you have to do them, some of those may be lower priority. Like, for example, a venue may need to be booked 4 weeks before, but Preparing other communication may need to be something later. Or if you're marketing, like when we do webinars, we start 6 to 8 weeks before. So the marketing is your first priority, understanding the lists, right? Like how many people are attending to then figure out the venue. So you need to have categories and then subcategories. So I think more than the tool, we also want to think about the process you're building out. Once you build out the process for, organizing one webinar or conference, you can rinse and repeat, right? You always need to book a venue. You always need to advertise. You always need to maybe use some social platforms. What are the platforms? So, hey, it's 6 weeks before. So now I need to advertise, right? So is my content ready? For example, Travis, Philip, and I worked to post this on Eventbrite so that we could get the word out, because people will not sign up the day before. You need at least 6 to 8 weeks to give people room. So you've got to understand what are the tasks, what's your timeline, and go from what I call day zero back to how long it takes. Does that make sense? So it's not just about the tool, it's also about building a process, building a reusable template that you can leverage over and over again. Does that make sense, Jay?
Yes, thank you.
Did you sign up? These are free sessions. Sign up. I think, you'll get the value out of a one-on-one. We can spend an hour just maybe going through some of the things a little bit in detail and help you figure out, your process. Do we lose him?
I
I
will
think we
go ahead
just
and do
lost.
that. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay. Any other questions? Travis, Philip, Victor, do you want to add anything to what I just said in terms of input for Jay?
Sounds good from my side. If Travis or Victor have anything else to say, that's fine. If anybody else has a question, please feel free to let us know.
Yeah. Hello, Ritu. This is Shashi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Thank you. This is a wonderful presentation that you have given us, and there's a lot of new information which I was not aware of. It's really very well presented. A question I have is, you had mentioned about the CRM software
Yes.
for collaboration, and there are several. Do you have the top two that you recommend for small businesses?
Yes,
Or-
we actually, yes, I do. So basically, I'll talk about how many, let me see a show of hands, have heard of Zoho as a solution, right? Like Salesforce and Zoho are two major CRM applications. Now, what I have found out and this is my personal experience, so, take it with a grain of salt. Zoho just launched a small business solution, which is sort of a Zoho CRM, what I call not necessarily the baby, but a financially viable solution for small businesses called Begin. BIGIN, right? So we partner up with them to provide services. And I'm happy to connect with any of you if you like to see a demo. I think in the form, when you look at it, we ask if you want to just maybe a demo on the CRM so we can demonstrate what we've done, how we use it internally, and how we work with the clients. And that's another one where for, a few $100s a year, it takes about maybe, a few days to onboard, and you can run and manage it, and you have fantastic reports out of the box. So you're getting a company that's really big in CRM that has a product that's specifically designed for small businesses. Very cost effective.
So Zoho is one of them, and any other, or is this the top one?
So the reason why I am recommending Zoho Begin, not necessarily Zoho CRM, Zoho Begin, is because I've done some cost analysis. There are other, like there's Salesforce, there's HubSpot. but those are a lot more financially expensive solutions. I'm happy to provide a list of those. So for those of you that have a little bit more bandwidth in your budget, you can look at it. But I think from a value add and cost effective, basically we use Zoho Begin, and I think for those of you that want to see the demo will also like the product, because the functionality as well as the you can do calendaring, you can do workflow, you can track your pipelines, you can track your businesses, you can do marketing campaigns, like a huge value from that product. And we spent a couple of months evaluating which, when we started working with small businesses, which CRM partner we wanted to invest in. So trust me when I say this, I'm happy to demonstrate and show you the value of that. But like I said, there's Salesforce for small business, there's HubSpot, and most of the folks, like we have clients switching over from HubSpot just because it's so expensive as well. I may mess up your name, but I'm thinking Zanmei. Is it Zanmei?
Fine, just May is fine. Yeah, so what's the price for this?
Sorry, for the CRM?
Yes.
Um,
What's the
so
price? Yeah.
So, nominal, like I said, I mean, they've got a free version, they've got, a smaller version, like the Express. We can have yes, definitely. If you, again, here, I'm going to put this up. For those of you, let's take this offline. I'm going to give me a second. I'm going to share this sign up. I'm going to say, it's going to take a little minute to load. Do you see the scan code?
I signed up already.
Perfect. So what we'll do is we'll reach out. Thank you, Philip, for confirming. What we will do is we will reach out and set up a demo for you, and we can talk. And like I said, for a few $100s, you can decide. You can start with the free subscription and then figure out if you want to invest further. Very, very reasonable in terms of investment. And we'll work with you to help you set up.
When you say the small business, what's the range? If let's just say it's like 2 or 3, was that too small for this?
You mean 2 or 3 resources, or do you mean
2 or 3 people work in this small business?
Not at all. Not at all. You can just get one subscription as well. So here's what I told you, right? Like when we work, like and with CSUF, like as well, entrepreneurs, people not even started their business, thinking about launching their business, right? So there's no this is too small as far. So May, for example, even if you were just one person, you are still going out trying to find your potential customers. If you are, a yoga instructor or a trainer, you are still trying to find, your connects, going to these meetings, you need to track the data. So it's not, does that make sense? Like, even if you were one person, I'd say track your data through a solution, and that will help.
So for now, we don't know we don't have the demo data, right?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
This workshop was purely for time management, but I'm happy to schedule. So if you've signed up, I'm happy to schedule the demo for the CRM for you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Sure. And then, if you do not hear from us within a couple of days, here's my personal email address. You also had my LinkedIn information, so reach out. but definitely, if you've signed up, you're going to hear from us, and most likely we are going to, schedule it for next week. So it's a quick turnaround. What else can I think before Shashi spoke, Victor, you had unmuted. You were going to say something about the PAT method or meetings. Is that what?
No, I was just gonna comment that these tactics are great. I think what jumped out at me is aligning my tasks with my energy level. I think that was a big breakthrough for me. I started studying like chronotypes and body like circadian rhythms, and some people are more um, creative in the morning, some are more creative at night. So just by changing how you align your tasks with when in the day, completely
Yes.
changed my output. So amazing.
Yes, true. And here's a funny story. So my husband and I are different. Like he gets out of bed at 4:30 in the morning, and he is like singing to himself. And I'm just like, oh my God, nobody should be, awake at this time, or like even at 8 or 9. It takes me a while to get up. So, everybody is different. And it's so important to recognize your rhythms, and optimize. So. And yes, Travis, I know the hours you work, and so I also know you're working late into the night. I don't think I've ever reached out, and it could be 2 o'clock, and you'll still respond back. So I know he's, with the overseas and everything. I know he's still on clock, and he is full mode on. So. So we joke then, I'm going up the stairs and he's coming down. Yeah, at that time in the day, 3 a.m., Travis. Any other questions that we can take or help answer? Awesome. Any feedback on the session? So the next time we do this, do you have any suggestions for us to improve, or things that went well just from all the attendees? I see a thumbs up for. Yes, go ahead.
Ritu, yes, this was very, very informative. A lot of new information that you imparted. You didn't mention the SMART method, which they usually talk about in time management. So the Pomodoro technique, that's the first time I've heard about it. I know what it is, but nobody had mentioned any of that. I found you were going too fast. In this presentation. There's a lot of information, a lot of great information. So maybe if we can have
me down
a little bit, because I know we can share, you're going to share the notes with us, the recording. We have the recording. I was still trying to take notes because I didn't want to miss. And, for example, you were talking about be intentional and your energy levels, just like what Victor mentioned. Same here, because many times I've scheduled my tasks in the morning, but I'm not up to it. And then my energy level wanes through the day. So I have to manage that. But a lot of great information. So I just thought maybe either we need a little bit longer time to do the presentation. So that's all. Otherwise, there's a lot of great information in there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So maybe, Philip, next time we can go like an hour 15. I was so worried about running out of time with all the information. I was like a speed train. Plus, as I mentioned, right, this is my peak energy level time. So I don't even need coffee to go right now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I thought it was really great, good information, a lot of stuff I learned. The Pomodoro technique is actually wonderful. It's one that I really like using, but yeah, definitely some other new ones in there, and I'm looking forward to using those as well. Okay.
So before we end, Philip, can I see a thumbs up for all my AI videos? Awesome. Thank you, everybody, thank you, Eric. Appreciate it, Helena. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Philip, back to you.
Absolutely. And so we're going to be doing another guest speaker talk in 2 weeks. We're doing them every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So please join us for those talks. We have some great ones coming up. Please look at our schedule. And do check your emails because we do send those out in our the upcoming events. So thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Ritu, very much. Very, very, very appreciative of your time. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you, everybody.